The first step to writing your research paper then is really the pre-writing process, which is narrowing your topic, deciding what you're going to write about. And in fourth grade, this is a combination English and social studies project. In seventh grade, you are just writing on a topic of your choice. Um, but you can see right here, this is taken from another research paper that was done, and the author started with just prehistoric creatures in general, but then decided to focus down on plant-eating dinosaurs, and then focus further on one kind of plant-eating dinosaur, which is Diplodocus. So it really is important to really focus in on exactly what you want to write about, so then you can start thinking of your questions. And for fourth grade, seventh grade, again, you've chosen your topics, but this may give you some other ideas if you haven't chosen a topic yet. This is a combination English and social studies. So your topic, fourth graders, should be on Ohio, which could be our natural resources, major cities, the Ohio State Fair, you name it. Those are just some examples. It might be on Ohio history, maybe historic Indian tribes, or maybe a specific tribe like the Woodland Indians, or the Great Seal of the state of Ohio. You can pause this to review it and take a look and think about something that might interest you, and talk about it with your guardians at home, the adults at home, in your life. They may have some good ideas too. So here are some examples. We start with the Ohio Indian tribes, might be one big subject, Ohio Indian tribes. And then a little deeper down, focus down, might be the Woodland Indians. And then I might just want to focus on the daily life of the Woodland Indians. So you can see how a broad topic, we get down to the nitty gritty where we're just focusing in on one part of it. Because again, this is really, one or two page research paper. We're not writing a whole book. So another Ohio symbols might be one big topic. And then I am very fascinated with the Great Seal of the state of Ohio. I think it's a beautiful seal. So my focus might be how and when was the Great Seal created? And a little bit more about it specifically in detail. Some social concerns. Social concerns is a big topic, but maybe homeless. I'm interested in the homeless. And then my detail would be focusing down even further, things we are doing and still need to do to help the homeless in our Ohio cities. So I might find that information in newspapers, but I can find a lot of this information online. Some additional ideas: animals, wildlife in Ohio, and then one question I thought of was, how has the wildlife adapted to our human population growth? Again, these are all examples. You can pause and rewind at any time. Um, another possible thing to write about are Ohio cities, and then I said the capitals of Ohio, because actually Columbus was not the first capital. So where were some of those early capitals located, and why were they located there? So those are just examples of possible topics. And again, you don't want to be so broad as to say, well, I'm going to write about Ohio cities. You really want to drill down and focus on what main topic do you want to write about? Because believe me, even though it may seem small, you will be able to find a lot of information on your topic. Once you've narrowed your topic, it's really important to know how you're going to be scored and the important things to look at. And this is a rubric that we might use, something similar to this, where you can see what is expected to get a score of 1, which would be the lowest score, where in as far as focus goes, the writing is not focused on the topic and purpose at all. It's kind of all over the place. Whereas a score of 6 on focus would be the writing is completely focused on the topic and has a clear purpose. So you might want to pause and take a moment to read this. And then pause again and read this last section that talks about how organization, support, and then conventions. Conventions are things like spelling, capitalization, punctuation, grammar. And of course, I would expect that you would write in complete sentences, have very few errors in grammar, spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. So this is where you might have an adult look over it with you to sort of help you check for those kinds of things. So take a moment to pause and look at the rubric, the criterion that we're looking for to make sure your paper is the very best it can be. So Mrs. Varner is going to take you through my own topic, my own research writing that I did. And I was thinking of Ohio, and I thought of Ohio waterways. And because I lived up in Cleveland, I thought about Lake Erie. I love Lake Erie. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. We used to visit it frequently because we lived up in Cleveland. But then I thought, well, I've got to think a little bit deeper and drill down more specifically. So my idea was to write about research and write about living and non-living resources from Lake Erie. And I put the bang stars because that's what I decided that's what my focus was going to be. But if you're doing your research paper now and you're following these steps, now that you have your topic, after you've chosen your topic, now what? And that's what you'll watch the next video clip for. After you have your actual research topic that you're going to use, the next step is going to be to generate some research questions so that you can specifically look for things. And that's what we'll talk about next.